Finlayson's is a fourth generation, family-owned and operated business commencing in 1875. It's one of Queensland's first sawmilling businesses. Our great-grandfather, Charles Patterson, laid down the foundation.
Our forefathers and associates worked very hard over multi-generations to build the business we have today. Finlayson's today is synonymous with Queensland homes, Queensland builders. Charles got together with two brothers, came across from Scotland to see, is there a future for his family? Because the following year, more of his family came out. They got together, and then seeing the amount of people coming in and the housing requirements, he saw an opportunity and he grabbed it.
Business was important for him, but he was a community man. He had a very strong Presbyterian upbringing in Scotland, and he brought that to Australia. And it just showed all of us that it's not just about business. It is about community and being involved and supporting and looking after people. And that's what stayed within the company through the generation after generation.
Even to this day, the Araucaria or hoop pine that we still mill, that Charles milled back then, it is one of the best softwoods in the world. It's very strong, very light, and just wonderful for many applications. It was plentiful and it was local.
The timber industry has been extremely important to the development of Queensland.
Every old Queenslander house was built with timber. So to see that transition from the old Queenslander right through to the most modern construction with timber frames, timber skirtings and architraves, timber windows and doors go in, it is just magnificent.
We've managed our forests here in Queensland as well as anybody in the world. Our plantation forests are managed on a sustainable yield, and our hardwood forests are extremely well managed on a sustainable yield. So it's something we all should be very proud of. These forests will continue to produce sawn lumber for the sector for hundreds and hundreds of years.
The option to move our manufacturing offshore has always been there and remains there. We truly are committed, as our forefathers were, to manufacture in this country. We're passionate about it. We invest in more modern equipment to try and keep costs down to compete against these import products. We will not move our manufacturing offshore. We're committed to manufacturing here in Australia.
We've always said at a board level, if we want to manufacture in Australia, we've got to be the best. And not the best in Australia, we're competing on a world market, so we've got to be really good against those guys. We've got laser cutting that does all of the heritage products, so we've got some of the most unique equipment and the best equipment in the world to help us compete.
A truly vertically integrated company, Finlayson handles its products from forest resource through all the manufacturing and processing right through to final product distribution.
And that's probably one of the reasons we've been able to continue to grow, because it's not easily replicated. About 30% of our production from our sawmills goes offshore to China, Taiwan, Vietnam and Japan. Then we have a wholesale business, and then we have our trade and retail operations.
The building cycle, as we know, is cyclical. It's tough when you're in the bottom of a cycle, and that diversification of our businesses has been absolutely paramount to us not only surviving, growing in some real difficult cycles. I remember particularly Dad talking about the fires and the number of fires that the business has been through. They simply rebuilt, and with these things came great opportunity, so they were able to rebuild with better equipment, newer machinery.
And the 1974 flood flooded our site at Toowong completely, but Dad got on with business again, and in 1974 they rebuilt it. And closer to home, in 2011, the flood here in Brisbane, we lost our main site at Sumner Park. We could have walked away, but we wouldn't. Too many people are reliant on our businesses, and our staff are our family. Although we suffered an enormous loss, everybody pitched in, and we were back working again in 6 months after the event. When Dad bought the business back in '85 with his partners, that was instrumental in taking the business to the next generation. It was a small business back in 1985. Now we're considered quite a large business with over 400 employees and with turnover well in excess of $100 million.
Dad was a stalwart of the industry.
He wanted the sector to be strong and solid, and he wanted it to support communities.
He was a leader. He was firm, but he was fair. He had the respect of everybody in the business and the customers.
He taught us how to work hard, not to be grumpy. Go to work every day and enjoy it, but make sure you achieve something.
What really Dad brought for me was you need your staff, you need your customers, you need your suppliers. You're all equal partners. And he really brought that way of thinking for me. Skeen's been integral in the growth of this business. He's had wonderful foresight in keeping us competitive in what has become a global market and really tough to manufacture here in Australia.
We've worked together for a long, long time. We very seldom have arguments and we learn from each other. Now, we have different roles, but we both complement each other. We firmly believe we want to remain a family business. We do not want to take the business public in any way, shape or form, because I think we believe we will lose who we really are. So it's business as usual, but hoping there'll be another generation at some stage.
We want to employ people, we want to look after them and their families and be here, hopefully, for another 4 or 5 generations.
Finlayson's staff over the last 145 years has made this business what it is today.
We've been a proud Queensland business over the last 145 years.